to my YouTube channel. My name is Mr. Charles, and today I will be doing the advertisement. So obviously, you know what I do. I give you a generic explanation of what to expect, what you should do. You need to have a past paper. At this stage, you must be doing past papers all the time, and you will realize that certain questions are being rephrased differently. So for example, for the advertisement, you can pick up a slight pattern and I will make you aware of that. Okay, before I do start, please like, subscribe, comment, and turn on your notifications to be notified when I do upload. So the advertisement, not really an issue, but obviously we can improve. Okay, so you will be obviously tested in paper 1, the language question paper, and the advertisement will be question 3 for 10 marks. Okay, so what do you do? Let's do this. So whenever I teach advertisement, my first question would always be, why do people advertise? And many times learners say that we advertise to promote a product. We advertise to persuade someone to buy our product. We advertise to make people purchase our product or our service. And that's only one facet, grade 12, okay? The idea of buying a product or trying to persuade people to buy, that is true. However, with many other reasons as well. And that's why it is important to apply what we call the AIDA principle. A-I-D-A-A. I do have my slight addition to the AIDA principle. I add another A. Okay, so A, the first A, will be for attention. The I will be for interest, attention and interest. The D will be desire. The second A will be attract. And then my A that I've added to the list will be awareness. So what you do, you apply this principle. So you look at the advertisement in front of you. So say for example, you get the question paper and you go to the advertisement, okay? Immediately apply the AIDA principle. So write down A-I-D-A-A. Attention, interest, desire, attract, and awareness. Now, you must be able to determine what is being advertised. Okay? And here's the issue. And this is my concern. The word advertisement is misleading. Sometimes a product is not being advertised. Sometimes it is used to create awareness. Okay? So when you get a product, and for the last 2 years in the NSC question paper, we had a Levi jean 2 years ago. That is a product. And therefore, when you apply the AIDA principle, it will be very easy. You can say it is to stimulate interest, desire, and also attract. Okay? But sometimes you will not get a product. You will get an issue or a concern. Okay? So for example, imagine you have a homeless person standing at the robots with his hands out asking for money. Imagine that is the image of the advertisement. My question will be, what is being advertised? And the answer will be nothing. It is to create awareness about maybe, employment or about a condition or society. So just be aware of that. To persuade someone to buy a product, that's only one facet. There are many other reasons as well. So you apply your AIDA principle immediately, okay? And that will obviously, it will filter your mind. So you'll be like, okay, so what I have here is not a product, I have a service, and therefore, when I apply the AIDA principle, it is to create awareness. It is also, you can say, to attract interest. It's not desire, and it's definitely not, we can argue maybe attract, okay? But when you get a product and when you get a service or an issue, you must apply the AIDA principle, okay? And you can do it on the page. You are allowed to scribble on the page, on the question paper, okay? That's the first thing you do. Then, target market. Keep that in mind, okay? What is the intention of the advertisement? What is the message, the central intention? Is the intention for us to purchase? Is the intention for us to, or for them to create awareness? What is the intention of the advertisement? And that will only become apparent when you have applied the AIDA principle, okay? Then there's one particular question that will appear, and that is the persuasive technique. And by the way, bold words or capital letters, that, yes, you're not wrong, but there are many, many more, okay? And there's a particular way you can answer this question. The persuasive technique, what they are referring to is the layout of the information. How and where is the information plotted? And what is the effectiveness of this? Okay? So when they say account for the persuasive technique in the advertisement, you must be able to explain the technique. You must be able to identify the technique, explain the effectiveness and context. For example, identify, explain why that technique, link back to context. That will give you 3 marks. So if you say, I have Richard Parker in the background. So if you say the writer or the advertiser is using bold words to attract the interest, to create awareness about plastic pollution. You see what I'm doing? So the idea is I mention the technique, I state why the technique, and then I explain it in context. Bold words, 1 mark, to attract the interest or to stimulate interest and to bring about awareness. You can argue about plastic pollution in the ocean that is causing a major problem in the marine sea life, something like that. But you must always refer back to context, okay? So obviously you can write all of this down. So I'm going to give you a few examples of persuasive techniques. Bold font, emotive diction. These are words, typically adjectives, that's creating emotion and impulse. Figures of speech, so the use of a metaphor or a personification or a simile. These are also persuasive techniques. Even alliteration, onomatopoeia, sound devices can also be a persuasive technique. Capital letters, when certain words are being capitalized to stimulate your interest and your attention, this can be a persuasive technique. The use of pronouns, the personal pronoun I, the plural pronoun we, and then you have the pronoun you as well. These are also persuasive techniques. Okay, so you have I, we, and you. Repetition. When certain words are being repeated, repetition or anaphora can also be a persuasive technique as well. Okay, you need to write all of these down. I also have here a centralized image. When an image is centralized, okay, you explain, you mention centralized image, what's the effectiveness of that, and link it back to context. The use of rhetorical questions. It is to engage the reader, to provoke the reader to think about a response, or to think about whatever is being advertised. You link back to context. So you mention the advertiser is using a rhetorical question to evoke the reader's interest and to make the reader think about, and you link it back to context. Okay, so there are many bold words and capital letters and large font. That's only one or two examples. Okay, we have emotive diction, metaphors, capital letters, we have the pronouns, we have repetition, even underlined words and exclamation mark. These are also persuasive techniques. Okay, rhetorical questions, centralized image, there are many. Please write that down. Then sometimes the question will state, how does the image, or discuss the suitability of the image in context to its message. When they say discuss the suitability of the image, they want you to describe the image and link it back to the central message. Okay, and when you describe, you provide adjectives, and this is lacking in the exam. Adjectives. You guys are describing, but you're not providing descriptive words. Adjectives. These are the ingredients, okay, that you need to use. So when you are describing, provide adjectival words and link it back to the central message. So also look at the mark allocation for the advertisement. Okay, if it's 3 marks, you really need to account here. 2 marks, you need to account and explain. The 1 marker will be for language, I would presume. But when you do the advertisement, you apply the AIDA principle. You know your techniques. You understand how to answer those questions. And you always refer back to context. Okay? And you obviously need to know the target market or audience as well. But the first thing you do, you apply that AIDA principle. Because my fear for you, what if you do not get a product? You might start to panic. Don't. It is to create awareness. Awareness about what? Depending on the context. If you like this, please like, subscribe, and do comment. And remember to turn on your notifications to be notified when I do upload. Cheers.